Hello? Where are you at, my friend? You left? Are you coming back? Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. Welcome to the Insomniac version of Comics Spot. Yeah, I will forever go down in history as the lady who interviewed Sinbad. I'm talking to people while you're coming back online. Hi. He's coming back. I can feel it. I can feel you come to me, Augustine. I know it's going to work. I'm thinking like a millennial. Are you there? You need to unmute. Hit your unmute button.
Okay.
Now we're kosher. Have you ever been kosher before? Do you like being kosher?
No, but I get the concept.
I don't mean it literally. It's kind of late for you. Kind of late to be kosher. It hurts when you're this old. It's a long story. It's in the Bible. You can look it up later.
I'll do that.
Augustine, welcome to Comic Spot. Yay!
Yay!
I met you
Glad to be here.
So glad to have you. I met you on with Jimmy Earl and the people in South Africa and OMG. I told you I was going to interview you, and then, you know, I had a pity party. I got sick and didn't feel like working, you know, all those things. I had to take time away to feel sad because I didn't feel good. Do you believe me?
Yeah, I understood. And well, this is the background story. Right before we were scheduled to have the interview, you got a bit sick, and
shoulder pain, shoulders.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was concerning, but you seem to have pulled through. So glad to have you back.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I was noticing that my arms are getting smaller right here.
Right.
And they're kind of going like, it's degenerative arthritis. So now I have something in common with Ellen.
Oh, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, we have so much in common. So I want to do your intro so your people and my people know what I know. I want to make everybody as woke as I am about Augustin Dennis. I'm woke.
Yeah.
The old lady's woke. Augustin Dennis is Ghana's biggest comedy export. I want to hear about that. His comedy career has seen him tell jokes in places like Malaysia, Singapore, and parts of Europe. I have a connection to Singapore I have to tell you about. You can find Augustin Dennis on Facebook, Augustin Dennis. He has a fan page, AugustinDennisComedy. He's on the Twitsville, you know, him and Trump are on Twitter. He's on Twitter as Auggie, Auggie, Dennis. He's on Instagram as Augustin Dennis Global. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And he's on YouTube as Augustin Dennis. Guest on several podcasts. Can't say a podcast. Most notably with Sim Tong on Funny People in Malaysia. And now you get to be on Comic Spot finally. Welcome. Yay!
Thank you. Happy to be here. Quite an introduction, huh?
Yes, I love it. I love it when you give me the words to say. Oh my gosh. You don't want me making it up. People say, It never works. If I make something up, you come out sounding like Ellen DeGeneres. It's not a good thing. So, talk to me about who you are today.
Well, some of that is in the introduction. Augustin Dennis, stand-up comedian. The bit about Malaysia is because that's why I started my comedy career. I was a student there, and so the comedy bug bit me there. And then well, I started there, did it over there for a couple of years, moved to Ghana, did comedy here for a couple more years, and I am now stationed in and around Europe, doing bits here and there. So yeah, that's where that tag comes from. Ghana's biggest comedy export. But
Wonderful.
the plan is to widen the reach, widen the horizon and go further. Is my accent okay for you?
No. Can you fix can you fix it?
I'm
do an
trying.
do an impression of a very white old lady in America. Can you
Hi, my name is Linda, and I'd like to invite you to the comedy podcast. And it's so fun to have Augustin Dennis here. And you know kosher? Kosher, you should look it up in the Bible later. Um, that
Do they know what the Bible is in Ghana? How's that for a really white, stupid question?
yeah, well, a lot of Ghanaian people tilt towards the Judaic faith, Judaism. So some might know it. I don't think so much. But
Yes.
this is the best accent you're gonna get, man. It
That
doesn't
was,
get any better than this.
I have so many namastes for you.
Sure.
Namaste and all of that. You are so amazing. So let's go way back in your childhood. Close your eyes and give me $200. I'm goofy in the middle of the night. What can I
That's
say?
good. Makes for a fun interview.
So when you were growing up, I bet you were funny as a little boy, even in Ghana.
Yeah. That is. I think I come from a family of funny people. I think growing up, my grandfather was funny. My mother is super funny. I grew up with cousins who are very funny. But then I didn't know I was funny until then I started talking to other people. And then, when you are making serious conversation, even as a 5-year-old, you think you are saying something serious and they are cracking up and they are laughing. And then I said, hey, maybe that's part of the package. Then I
Yes.
started looking, closely at it. So I've always been funny. I've always been that class clown, the guy who's always seated at the back, making noise, disturbing the serious students. That was me growing up.
That was
And
me. You're my
yeah,
doppelganger. You're my Ghana doppelganger.
exactly. So it was kind of a natural progression, really, into doing stand up. Yeah, but it's
So
always been there.
so did people in your family encourage you to be funny? Because in my family, I got called the B word when I was funny by my dad. So
Oh,
I was afraid to be funny around my
hmm,
father.
right.
If you were funnier, got a bigger laugh than he did, look out.
That's quite unfortunate. I think I don't share that experience. I think because everybody around was funny, it wasn't so difficult. We're all, cracking jokes. It was the way of life, the way we got through things. If there was anything sort of grim, we just made a few jokes out of it. And so I think from an early age, I knew the value of humor and then its place, in human interactions, and it was encouraged, quite a bit growing up until, well, you decide to make it a career when it is, because nobody is trained to believe that stand-up comedy is a career choice, right? It's not a so it's when you want to make that leap, then they say, hey, dude, this was just jokes. You don't have to live like, it's gonna make you money or anything. So that was my experience growing up.
Yes. Tell me about what was in your head when you said, okay, I'm not going to be a doctor or a rocket scientist. I want to do surgery on people's hearts and make people forget their pain and laugh. What made you become a surgeon of pain?
Well, I think part of it was also some therapy of some sort for me, because as funny people, we are all sort of on that spectrum. We are all hurting in one way or the other, and this provides some sort of release for us. So for me, I always knew growing up, I always felt different. I never imagined myself working in an office, put on a tie, report to a boss. I never saw that for me. So when I found out stand-up comedy, I knew that was it for me. That was the path that I wanted to take. Initially, I had wanted to be a lawyer, but then you fall in love with stand-up comedy and you defer those dreams for a bit. And
Yes.
so, to your question, I think it was more therapeutic for me, the experience I had, and the joy, essentially the joy I had seeing my words bounce off people, making them laugh. So that's where that comes from.
I love that. You made your family sound so wonderful. And I don't travel very much, but I want to get a time machine and go back and grow up in your family.
like I said, um, it was encouraged in the initial parts, but when you want to make it a career, it's not. Yeah, I've had a lot of issues with family people because of the path I chose, but nobody said it was gonna be easy, right? So you still walk that path anyways.
So some people that you know didn't approve of such a frivolous, such a light career path or a risky career path. Is
Right,
that right?
right.
They
Yeah,
wanted you to have
exactly,
more stable income.
exactly. I think my father still doesn't approve. Um, my mom, I was one time, I think I was in Malaysia, right? And then I went to do a couple of shows. I got paid good money. And so I paid my tuition fee myself that semester. So she was gonna pay my tuition, and I was like, "Hey, I've already sorted it out." I was like, "What? How did you get the money?" And I was like, "Comedy." It's like, "Oh, then you should do this more often, you know."
How
Um,
often can you do it?
yeah, that's the kind of support I got up until that point. But again, we are all trained to believe that this is not a career path. This is not a proper uh, career. So I understand some of the naysayers and the skeptics, but this is what I love. So
So I want to ask one more question and then go into the first time you went on stage, what that felt
right.
like. But before we do, I wanted to ask you about comedy in Ghana real quick.
Mhm.
So in America, we have a thing called corporate comedy, or where you
Right.
go to colleges and universities and you make a lot of money, much more money doing comedy, clean comedy at colleges, universities, motivational comedy. In Ghana, do they have such a thing?
It was an experiment once. I thought it had so much sort of potential. It didn't really it wasn't sustainable. But I remember several years ago that was a thing where they used to go around the campuses and try it. Yeah, so that is still a model which is there, which anybody could jump on and use. But for the most part, comedy in Ghana is organized by some of these sort of bigger production houses, and then you can get a show there, or you MC something. There's a show, somebody's birthday, something, they invite you, and there are a few these upshoots of something looking like comedy clubs. So that is there, and then there's also the corporate shows where a corporation, a bank, or something could hire you to come and entertain them, and that is also there. So it's a mixed bag, really.
Got it. What's it like going through the pandemic in Ghana? I know what it's like in America. I imagine
Mm.
it's the same, but it could be better. It could be worse. What do you think it's like compared to America in Ghana during this pandemic?
Okay, so as of now, I think people have become, very cynical about the whole COVID thing. Nobody wears nose masks as much as they did.
Yes.
Um, it didn't, it wasn't so disastrous for us in terms of the lives lost. So slowly people are easing back into normalcy, but then we are still mindful of the fact that there is still something out there. And for the creative arts, it affected so many people. So many shows had been lined up which got canceled. So many artists lost livelihoods, income from that. So yeah, that's the way it affected the arts, and then also the general population, just casual about it, really.
Yes. So, in terms of the number of people affected and the number of people who have passed away, what's that been like compared to, say, America? Do you know? Like, or
Um,
America's
this
way
could
up
be
there at the top.
right. You guys, I think I saw 200,000. I think our figure here, the last I checked, I could be wrong, but the last I checked was 286 people passed, which is a paltry figure compared to that of America. But so much people they tested who got the virus, but the only saving grace over here is that it wasn't as deadly. It wasn't, not many people lost their life, but a couple people, not a couple, a lot of people were infected. I got tested twice, came out negative both times. So if you need the past questions for the COVID test, I'm the guy to go to. Uh, but yeah,
I don't want to have sex with you. You don't have any antibodies.
that'll be
Forget
quite
it.
an experience.
Check you off the list.
Thank you. All right, so that's about it.
Yes. So talk to me about the very first time you said, "Yeah, I'm going to go on stage and make people laugh." And you got up there, and how did it go? How scared were you? Were you sweating bullets?
Yep, exactly. So this is how I started comedy. I went for a semester break at a friend's place, and then when I was there, they were watching this comedy video. I think it was of a Kenyan comedian who was in Malaysia, and they were laughing seriously. And I took just I watched the guy for a bit. You know how comedians, we have this ego. It's like, I'm funnier than that guy. So the guys were like, nope, you can't. This is the best guy out there now. And I was like, okay, if this is the best guy, I can do a better job. Where can I find this comedy club and go to? So I ended up having to look for the guy I said wasn't funny. And then he showed me where he was performing. He introduced me to a few people, Punchy Ho, all those people. and then I was built to perform. But before then, I think I took some 2 months out to really immerse myself in the art, read as much as I could about it, understand the structure and everything. And then I went on stage. I did 3 minutes. I remember it very clearly to this day. I was so nervous. I yanked the mic out of the stand. The whole thing came apart. And then I had to fix it back up and then go and do my set. And it was great. The first time it was so great. What they did was there were 3 open micers. So after the show, they asked the audience, who do you think was the best? And then you have to show by way of shout. And so I remember I got the loudest cheer, and that's when I knew. And I remember going to the bathroom and just feeling this sense of like, finally I found it,
Yes.
Finally I found that thing I want to do with the rest of my life. At least this makes sense to me than going to sit in an office. And it was a beautiful feeling. So I remember it. I think 10th November 2010. I think in Malaysia, Zouk Comedy Club, and it was it's the day I was really birthed into this whole comedy thing.
So talk to me about the good and the bad that you've experienced without throwing people under the bus, without saying names of clubs or people. Just tell me like what's been really wonderful and oh my God, you have no idea what I went through.
Yeah, well, I see that in terms of even if they were bad experiences, they were learning curves,
Yes.
So I can talk of this where I once went to do some show in Singapore, right? And then I made a joke, which to me it was funny, but I guess I didn't really factor in so many things, how the different sentimentalities would come across. And so it was something to do with the former IMF boss, World Bank, I think, Nicholas Strauss-Kahn. He was engaged in some rape allegations, something, and I made a joke, which was, I think, in hindsight, was in poor taste. So after the show, I come out,
The rape
and then they are like,
the rape was in poor taste.
everything about it was important. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have even ventured to even try that. But then I come off stage, and then there are like 6, 7 feminists. That's what they claim, waiting for me outside the club. And they were talking to the promoters like, hey, where did you get this guy? And then I had to go, and they gave me like a washing of my life. No, you don't blame the victim. And I got it. I got where they were coming from. And I took that as a lesson so that my comedy will never be to trample on the marginalized or those people who are already, on the fringes, but try to uplift them. And if I can't do that, I shouldn't even venture totally, right? And then the beautiful experiences.
That is so beautiful. That is like a flower that needs to open up and we need to let that flower open for just a second. That is the most beautiful thing I ever heard anybody say in 520 interviews. And I've heard a lot of stuff.
Right. So I think that changed my perception, my impression of it for a bit. And then obviously the best you can have is when you kill a show, right? And you have a really good set.
Yes.
You feel good about yourself. I've been lucky enough to have a couple. So if I kill shows in Singapore, Comedy Masala, I feel good. If I'm doing a show in Belgium and I have a good set at the Café de Joker, I feel good. So those are the high points for me. And then when I came to Ghana, I got featured by DW Deutsche Welle. It's a German
Yeah.
publication. Well, I
Yeah.
got featured there, and I think that's up to now the height of my comedy career. To know that whatever I'm doing here in Ghana was, transcending borders and going over there. That's the height for me.
Wow. So your comedy was featured in Germany,
Exactly. Yes.
and you never did comedy in Germany. You did it in Belgium.
I actually did the comedy in Ghana, but they had a correspondence here, and then they saw it, picked it up, and then yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
I think that was more encouraging, and to show that wherever you are in the corners of the earth, if you are doing something good, people would notice.
Yes, I love that. One time in 2005, I think it was, my daughter was looking for a job and she couldn't find a job. So I got a poster like this, big white
Right?
post, and I stood outside on the street with this sign. It says, "Hire my daughter and I'll give you a $500." It was like
How did that go?
It was like Rodney Dangerfield. Take my daughter, please.
That joke, right?
And so the story went around the world. People in Romania and Cape Town, South Africa. And I got invited onto the Steve Harvey show because of it.
What? That's so amazing. Oh, okay.
And I wasn't even a comedian back then. that was just me being a crazy mother.
Right. I'll look it up.
You Google Linda Smith, $500, Menifee mom, Menifee. I'll send you the link. It pops up everywhere. It's like I never thought I'd be a pop-up artist. Pop up, here I am. I'm everywhere.
A little guts will get you that.
Yes. I didn't even know about things going viral. In my day, you didn't want things to go viral.
You did it?
No, in the 50s, you didn't, like our biggest fear was that you'd get pregnant because you didn't keep your legs together. We used to use aspirin for birth control in the 50s. You put an aspirin between your legs and make sure that you keep the aspirin there, and then you don't get pregnant.
For real?
No, it's a joke. It's a very old.
Whoa. I was keeping that for later. Say, do you have some aspirin? I'm not having this baby.
When you got pregnant, they said it's because you swallowed a watermelon seed. You didn't want to be growing up in the 50s. We're crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So you went and did comedy and you've had some successes. And when you've done comedy, have you had a crazy person in the audience that was there when somebody else was doing comedy, or when you were trying to do what's the goofiest thing that you've had pop up in the audience, Augustine?
Okay, I can think of two. This one involves me, another involves another comedian. I never heard of him again. But I'll start with the comedian. He came on stage. I think he was a bit drunk, and then it was his first time. So he told a joke. I think about 7 minutes in, no laughter. People were visibly like uncomfortable, not paying attention, and he got angry. It's like, fuck you all. At least I tried. I am here busting my ass to make you laugh. And he insulted the whole crowd because nobody was laughing at his jokes. And that was It was so funny. It happened at this guy's place, Dr. Jason Leong. He's on Netflix now. He had a comedy show happening in Malaysia, and it happened there. I still think that's the funniest thing I've seen happen at a comedy club. That the person gets angry because nobody was laughing at his jokes. And then for me, there was one time I made a joke, and then I mixed it up. I was supposed to say Australia, and I said Austria, or I think it's the other way around. And then one guy in there, I think he was a patriot or something, a nationalist, got really offended and heckled me all the way through my act. So much so that I just left the mic and ran off stage. I remember that very clearly, man. So
Oh,
those were the experiences. But again, it's a learning curve. It's
it
part of
is.
the whole bag, you know.
So, what year did you start in comedy?
Yeah, 2010.
Wow, 10-year veteran. Thank you
Yep.
for your service. Serving up jokes. Okay, back to Ghana. In Ghana, Augustine, are you awake? Did you fall asleep? Ghana's sick of me. Come back to me, Augustine. You froze up, my dear. Can you hear me? There you are.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello. You scared me. You went to sleep
Yeah, it
and then
happens.
is the internet bad? Augustine?
It, you know.
Is the internet bad?
Sometimes it fluctuates, but we can talk.
Yes. We have to think like millennials and we have to get through it. They're so good. Millennials are teaching me how to understand problems in life. It's like
Right.
I have to think like a millennial. I'm thinking like a baby boomer, nothing happens.
Right.
Yes. So tell me, we're near the end of the interview, but tell me anything you want to tell me about being in Ghana, comedy, what you're going to be doing, what you want, where you want us to, what you want us to watch that you're going to be doing. Tell me what I can do to help your career from America.
Yes. So part of the plan is to eventually move to the States at a point in my career. But
Yes.
I'm looking at other places. I have an hour. I'm still developing, and if I get it to the good levels that I want, I probably want to shoot it somewhere in the States or Germany or one of those places. And then the goal is to be either on HBO, Comedy Central, Netflix, one of those things. I know but I think it's within the realms of possibility. You just have to keep
Wonderful.
working, keep the head down, and keep working, and then yeah, that's it. That's the plan.
When you travel America with your comedy, I know this 69-year-old lady, and she wants to go and be your host with you and open up all your shows for you. Do you know who I'm
Sure.
talking about?
I know. Was kosher? You can look it up in the.
Do they have Bibles in
Sure, why
Ghana?
not? We have it. A lot of Bibles actually. Um,
I know America sent missionaries to Ghana way back in the 60s. We're like, we have to
right.
save Ghana. And Ghana's probably like, please stop.
No. Ghana was like, oh, tell us more. We need to hear about this Jesus guy. And now is overrun by Jesus now. So we in America, I think we are more religious than America. You find it ironic though, but that is the reality. So yeah, it's had a huge influence on us.
Parts of America, like Hollywood, is more like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's not America.
Right?
It's like you guys are being.
Yeah.
What a world we're living in, huh, Augustine? Crazy world lately. Crazy world lately, huh?
Hello?
We're having a crazy world. Everything is mashugana. But
I don't know that.
Here we are on Zoom. We wouldn't be talking if it wasn't for the pandemic.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Well,
I think that's the beautiful thing about the pandemic. It just sort of appeared. You know?
Yes. It came out of nowhere, like many of my dates. I wish it would ghost us.
Okay.
Do you know what ghosting is?
Like many of your it goes to you on your dates.
What?
They never show up.
Yes.
I'm saying some of your dates never show up.
And that's what I wish would happen to the pandemic.
Yeah, and if you drink bleach long enough, it might just ghost, you know.
Oh my gosh. I always want to take medical advice from the commander-in-chief. Did you see where our commander-in-chief told us to drink? Yeah. Anyway, we're supposed to respect him because he's the president. And it's so hard because he's on Twitter more than I am.
Right. In the Twitter sphere. He was even on Twitter, I think earlier yesterday. He was just like, hey, I'm okay, you know. I now know more about the virus. This is not what people told me, blah blah. I saw a video.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Do you watch Saturday Night Live?
Yes, sometimes. I wouldn't say I'm a religious follower, but sometimes I do, yes.
Sometimes it's really good. Other times it's flat, but I love it when they make fun of the president. Stephen Colbert makes fun of the president too. I think it's funny.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. That is more encouraged in America. It's not so much here in Ghana.
No, I was just going to say that. I could tell from your responses that you tightened up when I started making fun of the president. It's like, that's not cool here in Ghana.
For me, I'm a bit of a rebel that I could say the joke and then wait for the consequence. I think it's like this. If you are saying something, you should run it through it all the possible consequences, and then if it happens, you knew this was gonna happen. So
that's a good point.
It's the shock when you don't think you are gonna take something this way that you know sort of unsettles people.
Yes. The connect. Yes. I like your idea. Yeah, in America we say anything and get away with it. But
I can hear you. I can hear you.
You can't hear me? The internet connection that we have is so bad. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. The internet connection and the video connection is so poor right now. Let's just go ahead and have you say where you want people to follow you, and then I'll post this with all your links again, and I'll say some wonderful things about you. You'll think I'm talking about Rodney Dangerfield. Augustine? Hello? Well, folks, we had a wonderful time talking, Augustin Dennis and I. He's so great. His audio is on, but his video isn't on. So let's see if we get him back. Are you there now? It says your audio and video is on. Hi, Augustine. I'm still here. You're lucky I have no life. Hi. The connection is really bad. So you guys, we had a wonderful time. I love this guy. His name is Augustin Dennis. And let me go back and we'll see if he comes back on in a second here. No, he left. Maybe he'll come back. But just to refresh you, Augustin Dennis is a doll. He's in Ghana. Such a great guy. I love him so much. He's got so many wise things to say. Came from a wonderful family that had a great sense of humor. Here's his bio again that he sent me. Augustin Dennis is Ghana's biggest comedy export. His comedy career has sent him telling jokes in places like Malaysia, Singapore, and parts of Europe, like he was talking about. You can find him on Facebook under Augustin Dennis. His fan page is AugustinDennisComedy. His Twitter is AuggieDennis. His Instagram is AugustinDennis Global. And on YouTube, he's just Augustin Dennis. He's been a guest on several podcasts. Now he's even been a guest on mine, on my show and podcast called Comic Spot. You guys, this has been my delight. Here he is again. He's trying to come back on. He's such a trooper. Him and Sim. Hi.
Hi, I'm back.
Yes, it sounds so good now. So
Yeah.
tell me, you get up to 5 minutes to say anything you want about yourself and your comedy and your future.
Okay. So Augustin Dennis, the plan, the dream is to make my comedy go to all the corners of the earth. Ontario, laughs, just for laughs, Perth, Sydney, all these festivals. I'm working around the clock to make that happen. I'm looking for anyone out there who needs a comedian with a lot of experiences, to have that sort of perspective, because I think that is what sometimes you go to a club and then there are so many like white people or only white comedians, and then they have the same sort of track of thought, and so somebody like me with my experiences living in Asia, Africa, and a bit of Europe, I have richer stories, and I think that if I'm on a show, I can bring a bit more diversity to it. And over time, like I said, I have grown to understand that comedy is not just for jokes, but it can be sort of a lever for change, or to speak about the ills in society. And so I use that for a bit of advocacy, in terms of everything, gender rights and all that stuff. Again, the goal is to be on one of these shows: HBO, Comedy Central, Netflix, and that's the plan. So anyone out there who is watching this, who needs a comedian to work with, build that bridge, my services are available, and I hope I am given consideration. So many
Yes.
fantastic talents in Africa, and I think the stakeholders should turn their heads here and look, because there's so much we have to offer.
Wonderful. Well, I'll tell you what, if I ever do want to get the coronavirus, I want to get it in Ghana.
Yeah, at least it's not so deadly here.
Yes. I can't think of a better place to visit, and it's probably a better place to die in than dying in America,
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. I'm going to get a lot of hate mail.
Yeah. I get the spirit of the joke, so it's fine.
Yes, the spirit of the joke. You're so wise beyond your years. You are so wise. And there are a lot of comedians who do comedy for a higher purpose. You were talking about not just for jokes, but for making change. And
Right.
Steve Marshall in New York, you might want to look him up. He's quite a humanitarian with his jokes. You'd love it. You would love his spirit.
Okay.
And yeah. Did you sign up for Dante Rusciolelli's U.S. comedy contest that's coming up?
But since you mentioned it, why not?
Yes, sign up for that. And he also has the Portland Comedy Festival. So it's Dante Rusciolelli. If you can't find him, tell me. You need me to send you his link.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's on Zoom, right?
Yes, they're live. They're Zoomed, streaming live, not live in person. Yes.
Right.
Now you can get on every contest without travel.
Right. Why not? I mean, I'm up for it. Just send me the link and I'll hit him up.
Okay, I'll send you the 2 flyers.
Okay.
With his name. Okay. Thank you so much, Augustin Dennis. Didn't you love him, you guys? He's so great. Oh my gosh. Augustine, I love you. I love your spirit. I knew you were so special, but I had no idea how special you are. You're a great guy. I wish you so much. I wish you every success you're after. And don't forget, I get to be your host in America, all over America.
Sure. Why not? Thanks for having me. I've seen a bit of your interview. Again, I knew it'd be fun, but not this much fun. So this is great.
Thank you so much. You have Yes, and I'm an old lady, and very white. Look at that. I'm so white. So I say goodbye about 17 times before I get out of Zoom. I'm so annoying. Thank you so much, Augustine.
Thank you.
I love you. I love you with my whole heart. Have a great day.
Same here. All right. Bye.
Bye.